This just got announced when it comes to ICP. Nothing I say is financial advice, and of course is not relating to my shaved head, which I'll talk about later on in the video as to why I did that. And even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything, Dominic Williams himself, right? Not Dominic Mysterio, Dominic Williams, the founder of Dfinity, he's recently announced something regarding Caffeine AI, and more specifically, Caffeine AI 2.0. Here's the thing. On February 2nd, Caffeine AI will begin to roll out, basically, right? And what's basically going to happen is that Caffeine AI 2.0 brings automated AI tech team to the internet computer, which I find pretty cool because a lot of people like to tell me, you know what, they gave up when it comes to Caffeine AI. No one cares about it. It was a flop. It's done. It's over with. But I just kind of disagree with that. They seem to still be persevering. And the thing is this, we have to consider Caffeine AI, it didn't necessarily launch at a time when the altcoin space was doing the best. It actually launched at a pretty unpleasant time when it comes to the kind of sentiment of the internet computer, right? It happened at a time when altcoins just didn't have much attention to begin with. So the thing is this, when it comes to stuff like this, I think it's a pretty impressive achievement at the end of the day because, sure, people like to say there was no altcoin season, that's all they care about, when is that going to happen? But I think sometimes for a project in and of itself, developing and kind of doing things does matter because it could reflect positively upon it later on. You know what I mean? It's like, for instance, the track record, the resume, what they did. Sometimes people take a look back at stuff like that, right? It's like when I want to buy something, let's say I want to buy a new pair of shoes or jeans or whatever, I take a look at the customer reviews sometimes, right? Just for research purposes. Doesn't mean I'm going to just automatically listen, but just for research purposes, right? Just to maybe have a second, third, or fourth perspective. And from that, I make my own decision and I take a look at it later on. But that comes from the track record of the project, right? That comes from what is going on when it comes to how it has reflected upon the community, the things that they were doing. So I think later on, if there's an altcoin season, people may take a look back at stuff like this and see that, oh wow, Dfinity, they did that when it comes to Caffeine AI, right? Or they were doing this when it comes to the internet computer, like for instance, chain fusion, and we take a look at the Solana and ICP integration, all this type of stuff. Sometimes people do take a look back at stuff like that. So the thing for me is, even though at the end of the day, I'm totally aware that the internet computer is not the biggest project, it's clearly not, but at least Dfinity is doing something. And keep in mind, in like less than a week, there's going to be that World Computer Day event in Switzerland. And a lot of professors, a lot of entrepreneurs, and especially some of these individuals who've had experience in the AI space, they're going to be speaking in that event. So we got to consider this. Caffeine AI 2.0, February 2nd. But they're already kind of announcing basically stuff like this right now, but I'm saying. But then in less than a week, World Computer Day event, they're starting off 2026, I think, with a pretty impressive start. Not in terms of the price charts, by the way, because clearly ICP, there's been a pretty okay recovery, but it's still around 24 times lower than $100. You know what I mean? It's still around $4 right now, actually, which is not that bad, I guess, considering how not too long ago, remember when it was like around $2 when it comes to ICP? So yeah, I don't think it's that bad personally in my perspective in terms of the slight recovery that it had. And here's the thing. Sure, it's a far cry from where it once was around $18 not too long ago, but still, I don't think it's like so bad, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, but we'll wait and see. I mean, why am I still thinking about $100 though? That's the thing. Sometimes people like to ask me that. Well, it's because with all the stuff they're doing right now in terms of Dfinity and also what's going on with the internet computer, just maybe that hypothetical idea may not necessarily surprise me. Now, we'll wait and see what happens because I will not be able to know for sure, and I will never be able to know what could exactly happen, but it's just something I'm thinking about. That's it. It's just on my mind. You know what I mean? It's just a hypothetical scenario. At 100, by the way, right? Or should I say $100? The market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, is around 54 billion. BNB reached around over 100 billion back in 2021. And the thing I ask myself sometimes is this. What's more revolutionary, the BNB chain or this? You know what I mean? Like the thing is, how is the BNB chain more revolutionary than this? I just don't get it. I guess it's way more popular, but how is it more revolutionary than this? This is my perspective. But besides that point, when I take a look at the internet computer, Something else that a lot of other projects out there don't really care about is having things run fully on chain, right? But the internet computer, it seems like Dfinity wants to be pushing it towards that narrative where things are running fully on chain, so to speak, in some instances that I do see, in some aspects, I should say. Now, why is this kind of difficult? It's because it requires a lot of computational demand. A lot of other projects out there, they simply just can't sustain that. So the internet computer is just like custom built for something like that, I suppose. It's built from the ground up, I should say, to handle something like that. So again, I asked myself, is $100 at around a 54 billion market cap so ridiculous? If someone said no, that wouldn't necessarily surprise me because I just take a look at how revolutionary it is, I guess, in my perspective, especially when I compare it to the BNB chain, right? I mean, when was the last time I heard about, I guess, things being fully on chain and trying to be like that and all this when it comes to a lot of other projects? I don't really hear it that much. I hear it when it comes to Dfinity, though, talking about the idea and stuff like that of hypothetically things being fully on chain. I do hear that. So when it comes to these projects that say, oh yeah, we use blockchain technology, but if they're not running things fully on chain, what are they really doing? I guess in some cases, we'll wait and see. But I mean, it's just kind of like fascinating for me to see that sometimes. Like, wow. So they're saying they're using blockchain technology, but then they don't want things to run fully on chain. So what's the purpose? But besides that, when I take a look at the internet computer, I'm still a fan overall because I think the project, I mean, sure, again, it's not the biggest, but it already has kind of that initial phase where it became a little bit popular because the market cap as of right now, it's like well over $1 billion. You know what I mean? It's not such a small project at the end of the day. It's still top 100 in the world as of right now in terms of market cap. So it already had that kind of initial phase where it's kind of recognized. People don't have to go out searching for it in like random places or something like that. They don't have to try to do so much research to kind of understand that this project even exists. I have to do that though for some other projects, just simply they're just not that popular. But when it comes to the internet computer, it already kind of has that established sort of following. It already kind of has pretty okay exposure. So I'm still a fan of it. I think being top 5 is going to be pretty difficult if there is an altcoin season, but you know what? It doesn't need to be top 5. Keep in mind, it's 24 times away from $100, right? Right now. Is Bitcoin or Ethereum, are they around 24 times lower than any point we could hypothetically see them at during this cycle? For instance, Bitcoin as of right now around 90 grand. Does anyone really think it's going to go to like over hypothetically $1 million during this cycle? During this cycle, I'm not saying 20 years later, I'm saying during this cycle. I don't have that mindset, right? Is Ethereum 24 times lower than any point it could hypothetically sort of reach if there was an altcoin season during this cycle? I mean, optimistically, some people maybe think, oh, hypothetically, they think about the idea of Ethereum at 10 grand. It's not over even 10 times lower than that as of right now. It's over 2 times lower, but it's not over 10 times lower, let alone over 20 times lower. ICP is around 24 times lower than $100, but the thing is, at a 54 billion market cap, which it would have at $100, that's still around 2 times less than what BNB reached at one point back in 2021, years ago. This is sometimes my perspective, but again, I'll wait and see. I will not be able to know exactly when there could be an altcoin season or if there even is one during this cycle. I'll never be able to know that, but I just like to stay waiting. That's it. I like to stay patient. Hypothetically, I just like to have this mentality where it's like, just in case. I guess that's the way I view it. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. However, when it comes to why I shaved my head, I just did it for fun. But you know what? The hair is going to grow back in like 2 weeks. It's whatever. A lot of people, when they saw it, they're like, oh no, why'd you, shave your head and all this? They told me that, but it's going to grow back. It's like whatever. It's like this altcoin space. Is it hypothetically going to maybe grow back? I mean, we'll wait and see. But my hair might hypothetically grow back, right? That's the way to take a look at it. Is my hair going to reflect the altcoin space? We'll wait and see. But yeah, that's just kind of my mindset. I just did it for fun. But you know what? The hair's going to grow back anyway, so it's whatever. In 2 weeks, I'll just get another haircut and then it's going to look back normal again in like a month. So yeah, besides that point. But I want to say thank you for watching and I hope you have a very nice day. It's Malik the Captain and I'll see you all in the next video.